Hi, Ian Roberts and Mastering Composition. So I'm painting my neighborhood again this week, and the image I'm looking at, it needs help in order to make it engaging. So I'll show you what I chose to paint, and then I'm going to show you at different times of the day what the scene looks like and the one I chose, because what I needed to create was contrast. I needed to create a drama of lights and darks. I needed to create a drama of the value masses that allows us to be engaged by the image. So I studied the scene, I looked at it different times of the day at the best interplay, and so in a way, I'm not really painting the scene, but the way the light hits the scene. It's sort of like a still life, you know, where you set up a good strong light. I'm actually painting the value masses of light and dark. That's the thing that sort of engages the painting. So I'll take you through that process. I've got a short section of my drawing and I sped it up just in the interest of keeping the video to a certain length. And you know, whenever you see somebody doing something quickly, it looks sort of frenetic, but I find drawing actually really slows me down and it's very meditative. Then I show you a part of the actual painting process. But then when I bring the painting back to the studio and looked at it, I saw there was 2 or 3 things that were going wrong with the whole thing kind of working the way I'd intended it structurally. And so I just show you those changes that I made and how it just sort of pulls the whole painting together just with a couple of small changes. So I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you at the end. Bye for now. There's an alley about a half a block from my home. And it's an overcast day, there's no shadows, there's not a lot that's interesting going on there. So how do we paint something like that? Well, if you go in the early morning and you get those beautiful shadow shapes coming out all the way down the road and those nice diagonals like on the garage at the back and on that wall and the light hitting the building in the top left, that becomes sort of way more interesting. Only I find the entire right-hand side kind of blasted in light and not a lot of form in there. Now at midday, we get some really good lights and darks, but the entire left-hand side is sort of washed out and there's not really anything to grip our attention. And I found of all of the options, the afternoon light was the most interesting. And so that's the one I chose to paint. That's where I thought the drama was in the shapes that would lead to the best painting. Normally when I do this, I draw quite a small rectangle and I've looked at it through a viewfinder and I kind of figure out what I'm going to do. This time I had quite a large sheet of paper and I just kind of drew and it expanded to sort of 7 by 9 inches, quite large. But I just wanted you to see sort of the process. It's quite windy, you can see the sort of thing moving around. And I don't generally like it when it goes so fast because it looks frenetic, and actually I find the drawing process very meditative. It's kind of slow and appealing. But I just wanted you to kind of see the process of this thing coming together, and then, you know, the lights and the darks and the drama of these things, and then to see the finished drawing 9 by 7 before I actually began to paint. I wanted to show you in this section right here where I'm putting in this dark, and then you're going to see I'm putting a lighter part that's just not quite in the shadow so much. And then this is the darker side of that great big square bush. And then there's the lit side. But you'll see, and then I put a real dark in next to it in just a moment. But you'll see how that structures all that in shadow into 3-dimensionality so that we really have the sense of the structure of what we're looking at. And then, like I was saying last week, in terms of warm and cool, light and dark, these are warm greens against the dark, cool greens. And so they're starting to pop like sunshine. We're starting to get the sense, oh, there's light hitting these things, because we've only got really those 2 tools, light and dark and temperature. And then that light along the top of the edge of the bush, you know, we put that in and we start to get the sense of it. And then a nice dark back there to pop the building. This whole part was the same color, so I just kept going as I went back to the palette, but it's all the shadow side of the building. And you just see, I've just shaped, it's in shadow, so it's a cool color. I've sort of made it more purple than it is, but you just see that it's just shapes by shape by shape. Get the value right, get the temperature right, get the color right, the landscape takes care of itself in a way. I mean, you get the color shapes right. Don't think about buildings so much as just get the color shapes right, one to the next to the next. Here I'm putting the lit side of this of the road, and you can see it against the shadow side, and then the little concrete thing there's a little lighter, and then now the shadow side on the other side, cooler and darker, and we start to get the sense of sunlight. And then there's just this one last little spot, and we're done. So there's the painting, how it looked when I got back to the studio. And I liked the way all this went. I like that. I like a lot of it, actually. But the problem is, this is holding way too much attention, partly because it's right dead center, and then I've got these diagonals all leading in towards it. And I wanted us to go up to here. So I darkened the garage and added this information up here, and I sort of jogged these so that it was a little bit more attention there. So now our attention gets pulled there and not back to that garage. Often when I get back to the studio with a plein air painting, I'll notice one or two little adjustments that need to be made like that on a painting I generally like. But if there's a number of things that need work or a structural problem, I generally don't go in and try to fix it. I just chalk it up to experience and go on to another painting. So I hope you found that helpful and engaging. I know a number of people have been saying they started to paint their neighborhood too, looking for beauty in the everyday. I think it's a fantastic exercise, actually. Please do like the video if you enjoyed it, leave a comment, and do subscribe, or even better, sign up on my email list, and that way you get the video every Tuesday in your inbox. So I hope you have a terrific week. I'm painting something in my neighborhood again next week, and I will see you next Tuesday. Bye for now.